Well, today is the third series of my disability ministry video. This set of videos is in support of the Disability Ministry and Foundation, Tom of Global Foundation and Ministries, a ministry specially devoted to people who are disabled. People have had a wrong interpretation about the meaning of disability, but this is the time that we as preachers in this direction would have to give a proper orientation about the word disability. Today's preaching is in Genesis 32, verse 22 to 32. And it talks about a man called Jacob. I have titled today's version, or the meaning of this topic is the meaningful weakness through the changing encounter with God. Once again, I repeat, the meaningful weakness through life-changing encounter with God. Jacob's story is a very fascinating story. We are, as human beings, are all creatures of God. And therefore, we all have weaknesses. And this allows us all and allows God to use us to accomplish His purpose. He therefore displays His glory through us. The Bible tells us that following Jacob's wrestling with God, he went away with a wrenched hip. A wrenched hip is a dislocated hip. Dislocated hip meaning that he has become disabled. My preaching is always around disability issues and how God used disability to do the work and His ministry. We all are aware that out of the 37 miracles of Jesus Christ, 23 of them were about disabled people. We know that following Jacob's wrestling with God, he went away with a wrenched, dislocated hip. But in spite of this, he was blessed to have seen God in the face. We are told in Genesis 32:30. Remember, when we see people in any of these characters being a liar, a cheat, a thief, a scoundrel, or a schemer, and so on and so forth, and what we all do is that we reject this person. Listen to me, brother. All these words described Jacob. This is the character of which the man called Jacob was. But sometimes remember that the trajectory of a person's life turns on a single point when it comes to have an encounter with God, or when God intervenes in his life. For Jacob, that pivotal moment came one night when he met God, and from then on, he came away a different person. Before the encounter with God, Jacob had cleverly used his skills in the art of manipulation to secure the birthright, the blessings, the inheritance reserved to his senior brother Esau. Their relationship became deeply fractured that Esau plotted to kill Jacob. And this therefore forced Jacob to flee and live in exile. Jacob sought refuge with distant relatives, particularly his uncle Laban. And there, through other manipulations, he could accumulate large flocks and became a wealthy man. But his success came at a heavy price. His schemes had left a devastation in its wake. Listen, brother, this Jacob is a very interesting guy. Look, he has been wherever he goes, or wherever he had been, he left, these characters there. Brothers and sisters, listen. Being human, Jacob longed to return home to make a fresh start. Most of us live abroad. We've been here for years. Most of us want to go home to make a fresh start. But he was unsure as to what will be done to him by his brother Esau. Well, remember, you've taken his birthright, his seniority, his blessings from Dad. What do you think he'll do to you? You know what he did? He tried even to send gifts ahead in an effort to appease his brother. We see in Genesis 32:11 that he prayed to God, "Oh Lord, please reserve me from the hands of my brother Esau." Jacob recognized his desperate need, and that when God touched him, that we all need a touch from God. That is all what he needed. In that situation in which he was, he desperately needed the touch from God. Jacob's personal encounter with God brought about the difference which forever changed his life. The Bible tells us that a man came to wrestle with Jacob until the dawn break. And when the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hips and wrenched or dislocated it of its socket. But the man said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me. I will never let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" But he replied, "You cannot ask me my name. My name is Jacob." The man said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob. From now on, you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with man and have won. You have fought with God and man, and you have won." Jacob asked, "What is your name?" And the man asks, "Why do you want to know my name?" Then he blessed Jacob. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means the face of God. For he said, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared." Jacob left limping because of the injury. Jacob was not disabled, but when he had the encounter with God, he became disabled. Listen to me, brother. We can see from this that Jacob's personal encounter with God made all the difference and forever changed him. He could now be used to form a nation through which the Messiah, Jesus Christ, would eventually come. His name was changed that day from Jacob, a deceiver, to Israel, which means God fights. We came to know that, or we have come to know that, this long night wrestling resulted in a permanent disability, which is a valuable reminder of his life. Listen to me. He said a disability which is a valuable reminder of his life-changing encounter with God. So when Jacob returned home, he was a broken man. He had suffered greatly as a result of his own sin. But in the end, Jacob serves as one of the most dramatic biblical pictures of how brokenness and suffering can radically transform an individual's character and life trajectory when touched by the power of God. I repeat, in the end, Jacob's life serves as one of the most dramatic biblical pictures of how brokenness and suffering can radically transform an individual's character and his life trajectory when touched by the power of God. This sermon today is my third video. This is in line with my disability ministry. And most of the people we see in the Bible God used to do his work were all disabled. Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, also became disabled. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, no matter your condition is, no matter the way people see you, no matter the identification people give to your life, being a liar, being a cheat, being a thief, being a scoundrel, being a criminal, being a schemer, no matter what, you are now a broken person with these characters, sometimes rejected. But once you get the radical transformation from God through his touching, you become a different person. This is the third series of my ministry. God richly bless you.